Hey there, friend. Happy day. It is a Monday by me. I have generally been doing my recordings on Monday mornings. Things might change a little bit going forwards. We shall see. Teaser to what we're going to talk about in today's little episode here. So we're coming off of Thanksgiving weekend. It's Cyber Monday. That means I gotta do some browsing later. It's really exciting to think about getting a job and like being able to browse and not having to budget so intensely, which is not what we're talking about today. But it's one of those things where I've talked about this in prior episodes, that this is like a big reason for me, just like not feeling like I have to hustle anymore, or at least right now. It's just not the season that I want to be in. So it feels really good to be like, ooh, I could potentially like actually not be so concerned when purchasing things. So with that, I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you celebrated, ours was super chill over here. We talked a little bit with the families, but we spent it here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and yeah, just took it really easy. I haven't felt super great the past couple days. Felt a little bit better last night, and okay today, just kind of like low energy. But yeah, so there was that, not feeling great going into the weekend, and then just this other stuff going on, which is what I'm going to talk about today, share a little bit about. Last week just ended up being kind of a lot. It was actually nice because it was like a lot, but it also wasn't. Like there were moments of intensity, but also because it was the holiday, I was able to get some extra space. So while this will all seem a little bit crazy when I tell you the details, I'm actually kind of grateful that it happened on a holiday weekend, because it gave me space to just like, for one, rest, because I didn't feel great, but then also just to kind of be with where I was at after all of this happening. So that's probably a good place to dive in to what I have to share, which is, as I talked about in my last share, I had been feeling pretty good about the application process and getting a little bit of traction through friends and referrals, actually getting excited about certain positions I was finding and things like that. So if you haven't checked that out, go back and listen to or watch the last episode. And that kind of immediately or very quickly ramped up last week and continued, because so I had a phone interview Monday. I think I mentioned that in the last recording. And then I immediately moved through to something on Wednesday evening. So, it was right before Thanksgiving. I wasn't actually going to schedule it, but the way it worked out, I was like, well, I'd actually rather get this out of the way. And they let me know that somebody else is deep in the process and they're wanting to move pretty quickly. So the fact that I was able to get in earlier, or not wait until today, the Monday after Thanksgiving, was a good thing. So it went really well. And actually at the end of the interview, and the reason I'm going to share this is because Jesse made a big deal about it. I may have glazed over this otherwise, but she made a point to point this out to me as something really notable. So at the end of the interview, she was like, this woman, the interviewer, was like, okay, really like you. This was actually when she told me, we have somebody else pretty deep in the process right now, but I am really curious to have you speak to others, and I think you're, it's you and this other person are the ones in the running here. So I want to give you a fair shot. And if you have any time soon, either Friday or potentially even tonight, like after this, and mind you, this is like 7 p.m. on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. She's like, like after this, I'd love for you to talk to our CEO. Note here that it is this is a startup, a small company, handful of people. So it's not like I'm just to provide context. I'm not talking to the CEO of some massive corporation or something like that. But she was like, yeah, I'd love for you to talk to him if possible. And I was like, cool. I was like, let's do it tonight. Let's, I'm free for a little bit still. So half an hour later, had a conversation with him. That went really well. He made it very clear to me that this is a position that they are expecting this individual to really step up to the plate and do a good job and not have to worry about being micromanaged. Like, this is their show. They're going to be the one who is really in charge here. And he made the point to say, because it's like very clear that I'm a business owner. I'm coming off of, being self-employed for plenty of years. And so, not hiding this obviously in any way. And so he was just like, I need you to be invested here. And so just like make sure that that's something that you can do. And I really respected him for that because, and I told him as much. I was like, from one business owner, passionate business owner to another, I was like, I totally respect that and I understand that, and I will, I'm there, but I've taken some time over the past couple of months to really figure this out for myself, to like get honest with like where I'm at and what I want. And this is where I'm at, but I was like, just, to for my due diligence, and, I'm not going to jump into something half-ass, then, I will sit with it this weekend, over the long weekend. Which I share all that because that was really confronting for me. And has been over the course of the past few days, like over the weekend. Because I had already come to a point through this transition period over the past few months of like slowing down, taking a step back, kind of reevaluating my, everything, but also, the specific lens of my business and how I'm making money. And just really hard. It's just really hard to be faced with this reality that, I've let go of a lot of kind of the identity that I had created for myself in the past few years. But this felt like and I should say, and a willingness to be open to reimagining and getting deeper and closer to who I actually am and what I want to be. And so this was like really pushing me to that edge of, hey, things are going to be really different if you indeed get this opportunity and take this opportunity. And we talked to my parents the other night, like, because we didn't talk to them on Thanksgiving, but it was Friday or something like that. And it was like one of the things I just kept telling my parents. It's like sharing some stuff, and then I would just be like, yeah, and like, I don't know. Like, I just kept going back to this place of like, fuck, dude, this is hard. This is hard. And that's like really, what I'm feeling, where I'm at, what I wanted to share here. For anybody going through something similar, or if you can relate, because can be extrapolated out to any like really big life transition, right? It's not just work. But yeah, so for me, it's like, I've been so kind of like tunnel vision on this direction and this way of living and how I'm showing up and all these things, that to consider this very different, like, again, things will look very different on a day to day. I'm still the same person. I like my kind of the vision I have and the things that I want to be doing over the course of my lifetime are still there, but the short term is going to look very, very different than the past couple of years have. And this is like, this, I do believe I'm going to get this role. I do believe this is going to go through. I know in my heart that it's the right thing to do. In my gut, I'm scared and I have a lot of these concerns, but I know it's the right move if I do indeed get the opportunity, which, again, I think I'm going to. And I don't say that to be arrogant. I say that because, like, going through this process, like, they gave me like a little project to do over the weekend, and I have 2 more interviews today. But like doing this project, I was really thorough. I made sure I did a good job. And it was like during this project that I was like remembering how much I like to do really well at shit. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know that I've talked about being a capital A achiever, a high achiever, an overachiever, but I just label it the achiever with a capital A. I'm like this, Jesse's like this, a lot of my friends are like this. And this is like one of those things where I kind of, like, in my own business, I started like not really doing that as much because there was no real like mirror. Like, I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to be, or I could be doing things better, but I let so many things slip that I wouldn't have if I were doing it for somebody else as part of a team with somebody else holding me accountable. Or I should say, not even like holding me accountable, just like being accountable to something greater than myself. And so it was really interesting to go through this process and like be genuinely interested in what I'm doing, by the way, which is like why I would take the position, is because it's really cool to me, and I'm not going to go into detail about it at this point in time, obviously, but I was like really getting into it and just kind of, I was having fun being organized. I was having fun doing well, like putting things together and making them look nice and presentable and being proud of what I am producing. And that's the thing for me that like really stuck out, was I love to be proud of my work. And while I have been proud of my work on a large scale over the course of the past few years, very, very proud. The things that I've done have really made my heart happy because it's just like pulled me out of me. I've seen how it's impacted others, so it's been a beautiful thing. But there's also a lot of things I've done on a micro level, on an internal level, on a day-to-day or a business level that have not made me very proud. So that was really interesting to notice, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to being, working for somebody else, working for somebody else's mission, working as part of a team. Is I like to show up and I like to be a contributor, and I want people to say, oh shit, that's really good. Or, oh man, look at this guy. He's like going above and beyond. I mean, say what, like, you can psychoanalyze that all you want. Like, I've done enough of that myself. But I'm coming to the point where I'm totally cool with that. Like, I'm okay being that guy. That's who I am. And if that's something I enjoy and I like, and this is the thing that's different now from past, is if I have a healthy relationship with that desire to achieve, that's awesome, right? That's an amazing thing. That's going to make me an incredible asset to a team. I'm going to reap the rewards of that, from a financial standpoint, from just like a general fulfillment standpoint. Obviously, that's what I'm talking around here. So that was kind of all this aside to say, this feels really good to me. It feels really good to me to kind of be like back in my element almost. Whereas, excuse me, I still have some of that post-nasal drip. Where I really haven't been fully in that element in my silo, in my business. So all of these things are very, very interesting to me. Things that I'm going to continue to pay attention. I'll continue to share with you, I'm sure. But that kind of brings me back to, I do think I'm going to get the position. And if I don't, then it's not meant to be, right? Because I do believe that I've provided above and beyond what I needed to in this process. But regardless of whether I get this exact position or not, this weekend was kind of the real like mental shift that I needed to, the uncomfortable mental shift that I needed to be with, to like fully acknowledge, hey, your life is about to be different than it has been. And so that was just really, like I said, tough. It was hard to sit with that because it's scary, right? Like it is the unknown. And I said it probably 4 or 5 times, I feel like, in that conversation with my parents, who were super supportive, and it felt really, really good. I just like kept coming back to it. I was like, but I'm just like scared, I'm nervous. And it's because when our brains can't fully wrap around what things are going to look like, how things are going to feel, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like it's just ungrounding regardless of what that change looks like. So yeah, that's where I am at today. Like I said, I submitted my project to them this morning. I have 2 more interviews today. They want to move quickly. I would imagine that I know something by Wednesday, whether that's like a final interview or that's another conversation or moving forward or whatever it is. I think that'll happen midweek, definitely by end of week. So I've kind of been prepping myself because they do want to move so quickly. I am prepping myself for like, I could potentially be working a full-time job like as soon as next week. That the likeliness of that happening is probably pretty low, but you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to get in that mindset of like, oh, this is happening sooner rather than later, like in a very tangible time frame away. Things are going to be different. And so it's just been kind of weird to like sit with, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Oh, well, this is gonna have to change. Oh, well, that, like, all those things are going to be different. So there was one other thing I was gonna say, came up in my brain as I was talking there. Because I was talking about, it was something I want to make clear. Oh, the process with it being fast. A lot of times I'll feel forced or rushed, and I don't like that, and that kind of immediately is like, okay, maybe this isn't the right fit. I'm just being pushed through things too quickly. I'm not really having time to sit with this, to consider, like make sure this is the right thing to do, etc. But actually, this time around, it's feeling almost the opposite in that it's been very easy, meaning that from a logistical standpoint, it's very flowy. And so like, because this is the first job that I've interviewed with, and so if it does indeed happen and everything has felt right along the way, there have been no like major like, oh shits, or like red flags or anything like that. then I am interpreting it as I made a decision. As soon as I made that decision, the universe is kind of like, all right, here you go. All you had to do was like make the decision. This doesn't have to be hard for you. And so that is something that's feeling good to me, as opposed to feeling kind of rushed and full of tension or anything like that. So I did just want to share that, because I do feel like that's a very important part of the process, because in general, I would not like things that were so kind of expedited. But in this case, it actually just feels flowy. Like I'm not feeling a lot of resistance in my body. Like it's scary, I told you the mental pieces of it, but yeah, just kind of wanted to share that too. So I think that's good for my share today. I'm gonna get to some of this other stuff here. I made my list for Monday. I'm hitting it like right on time. This is feeling good. Feeling a little bit more energized after doing this, actually. So I'm sure you can tell like my energy from the first 5 minutes to the energy in like the last 10. Pretty different. So yeah, thanks for hanging out as always. I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, feedback, etc. I just love that you are taking your time to hang out with me, because I appreciate you. And yeah, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday weekend and that you're getting back to it this week. Talk to you soon. Much love, Benjamin.